Right then, listeners, get ready for a proper deep dive today.
Yeah.
Into the inner workings of Amazon.
Oh.
We're going to be uncovering the secret sauce behind how they keep those add to cart buttons working,
Right.
flawlessly.
Hmm.
Even when the internet is, well, let's just say not at its best. And the magic ingredient is a system called Dynamo.
It's fascinating.
Oh, do tell.
The sheer scale of Amazon's operation.
Right.
Tens of thousands of servers.
Wow.
Millions of components all whirring away.
Blimey.
And failures happening all the time.
Really?
Constantly.
Yeah.
Traditional databases just wouldn't cut it.
Why is that?
Well, they're so focused on keeping everything perfectly in sync
Right.
that they'd rather shut down completely than risk a slight inconsistency.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'd just grind to a halt.
I see. So it's
Each Amazon needed something.
Yeah.
Something that could handle the pressure, roll with the punches,
Yeah.
never drop the ball.
So it's a bit like trying to conduct a delicate orchestra in the middle of an earthquake.
Yes.
And those traditional databases,
Yeah.
they just want to stop the music altogether.
Right, but Amazon needs the show to go on.
The show must go on.
Exactly, and that's where Dynamo steps in.
Right.
It's a real game changer.
Is it?
It prioritizes availability
Uh-huh.
above all else.
I see.
So it accepts that things might be a little out of sync
Right?
temporarily, because those discrepancies can be sorted out later.
I see.
It's better to let a customer add something to their basket,
Yeah.
even if there are a few versions of that item floating about, than to reject the request and lose the sale.
I suppose so. That's quite a bold move, isn't it?
It is.
Accepting inconsistencies sounds a bit chaotic.
Well,
How do they keep things from, falling apart?
the key is something called consistent hashing.
Okay.
Imagine a pie chart
All right.
with each slice representing a server
Okay.
in Amazon's network.
Right.
Now the data is assigned to specific servers.
Based on where its key falls on this chart.
Right.
So if a server goes down or a new one comes online,
Yeah.
only the neighboring slices are affected.
Oh, right.
No massive data shuffling.
I see.
No system-wide meltdowns.
Right.
It's very elegant and efficient.
So it's like a well-choreographed dance,
Yeah.
with the servers gracefully stepping in and out.
Mm-hmm.
But what about keeping track of all the data changes?
Well, that's
With all this inconsistency, it sounds like it could get a bit messy.
it could.
Yeah.
That's where data versioning comes in.
Right.
So instead of overwriting data with each update,
Right.
Dynamo creates new versions.
Okay.
Immutable versions.
Right.
It's like keeping a detailed edit history
Right.
of a document.
Okay.
So even if there are multiple versions of an item, let's say,
Yeah.
Dynamo knows the lineage of each one
I see.
and can identify which ones are related.
Okay, so it's like a family tree for data.
Yes, exactly.
So Dynamo isn't just accepting inconsistency.
It's embracing it.
It is.
It's almost like it's saying, bring on the chaos.
Uh-huh.
We can handle it.
We can.
But wouldn't all these versions lead to conflicts?
They could.
Like two people trying to edit the same product description?
Of course. And that's where Dynamo's clever use of vector clocks comes in.
Okay.
These clocks are like timestamps on steroids,
Really?
meticulously tracking the lineage of each version. So they allow Dynamo to spot conflicts
All right.
and then either resolve them using simple rules, like last right wins,
Okay.
or even more cleverly, delegate the decision-making to the application itself.
So it's like Dynamo is a master conductor,
Yes.
keeping all these different versions in harmony
Right.
and making sure the final result is, well, a beautiful symphony,
Exactly.
even if there are a few off-key notes along the way.
A brilliant analogy.
And to make sure no data gets lost in this complex dance,
Yeah.
Dynamo uses this clever mechanism called hinted handoff.
Yeah.
So if a server is down,
Right.
Dynamo temporarily stores its data on a different server.
Right. Leaving a hint about where it should ultimately reside.
Oh, like leaving a little reminder note
Exactly.
saying, don't forget to put this back where it belongs.
Yes.
Brilliant. So Dynamo is designed to keep humming along,
It is.
even when parts of the system are having a bit of a hiccup.
Right.
But surely all this resilience comes at a cost, doesn't it?
Not at all.
I imagine all this versioning and handoff must make things quite slow.
No, Dynamo is actually surprisingly fast.
Is it?
And that's thanks to Amazon's obsession with performance optimization. They use techniques like load balancing
Okay.
to make sure that data and requests are evenly distributed.
Right, so that avoids bottlenecks.
Exactly. And they're obsessed with those high percentiles, the rare but critical moments when traffic peaks or responses are slow.
I see.
Amazon's engineers, they understand that even a tiny delay can mean lost revenue and frustrated customers.
So it's not just about average performance then, is it?
No.
It's about making sure everyone has a smooth experience,
Right.
even when things are really busy.
Exactly. It's like a high-stakes game of Jenga.
With their infrastructure.
Precisely.
And they're winning.
They are. Dynamo has an incredible availability rate.
Does it?
Something like 99.9995%.
Wow, that's impressive.
It is, especially considering how complex it is.
Well, color me impressed. Dynamo is clearly a technical market.
No.
But what I find really fascinating is the philosophy behind it.
Right.
It's like it's challenging the traditional way of thinking about data. Is perfect consistency always necessary?
Wow.
Isn't there something quite beautiful about embracing a bit of, well, calculated chaos?
That's a great observation, actually.
Is it?
Dynamo's success really makes us rethink the conventional wisdom. It shows us that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to data management.
I see. So for some applications.
Right, like banking systems, where every penny has to be accounted for,
Right.
perfect consistency is crucial.
Of course.
But for many others, a bit of temporary inconsistency is fine, especially if it means avoiding downtime for users.
So it's about choosing the right tool for the job then.
Exactly.
Not just blindly following the rules,
Yeah.
but understanding the trade-offs.
Yes.
And making decisions based on, well, the needs of the application.
Right. Take social media platforms, for example.
Okay.
When you post an update, it doesn't appear instantly for all your followers.
Right.
It takes a few moments
Yeah.
for the system to spread that update across its network.
Okay.
This slight delay is a small price to pay for a platform that stays receptive.
I see.
Even when millions of users are sharing and interacting.
Right. I'd much rather have my well-witty tweet show up a few seconds late than have the whole platform crash because everyone's trying to, share their breakfast photos. It's about prioritizing the overall user experience.
Absolutely. And this principle applies to more than just social media.
Right.
Think about tools like Google Docs,
Right.
where you can have multiple users editing at the same time. The system handles any conflicting changes really well.
I see.
It's not about having the absolute latest version all the time, but making sure that everyone can contribute and that the document is always accessible.
So are there any, broader lessons we can learn from this?
I think so.
Beyond databases and servers? I mean,
yes.
Can this idea of embracing inconsistency be applied to other parts of life?
Absolutely. Dynamo's success gives us a really powerful metaphor for dealing with the complexities of life.
I see.
It shows us that we don't always need to strive for perfect clarity or certainty before we do something.
Yeah, okay.
Sometimes it's better to just embrace the ambiguity and adapt as we go along.
So we should be more like Dynamo then.
In a way, yes.
Constantly adapting and evolving.
Right, just like Dynamo uses versioning to track data as it changes. We can use journaling or reflection to track our own thoughts and relationships and goals. We can be open to different perspectives, knowing that they can lead to greater understanding and growth.
It's amazing how these technical innovations can teach us so much about life. Embrace change, adapt to uncertainty, and don't be afraid to let go of control a little bit.
Exactly.
It's like that saying, don't let perfection be the enemy of good.
Yes.
Sometimes it's better to get something out there, even if it's not perfect. And then just, improve it as you go along.
Exactly. And that applies to so many things in life.
Does it?
Think about relationships.
Right.
We all want perfect understanding, don't we?
Yes.
But that's not always realistic.
No.
Relationships need communication.
Yeah.
And adaptation. A willingness to embrace the messiness.
So we shouldn't expect things to always be predictable.
No.
We should be more like Dynamo.
Yes.
Always adapting, always evolving.
Right. And just as Dynamo uses versioning to track the changes in data, we can use things like journaling or reflection to keep track of our own thoughts and relationships.
And goals.
Yes. And we can be open to different perspectives.
Right.
Because those different views can help us grow.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It is.
How these technical innovations can teach us so much about life. Embrace change, adapt to uncertainty, let go of control a little.
And with that, I think we've come full circle.
Have we?
On our deep dive into the world of Dynamo.
Right.
We've looked at the technical details, the philosophy behind it, and how it can inspire us to think differently.
About data, about resilience, about personal growth even.
Exactly.
It's been an absolutely fascinating journey.
Yeah.
We've learned about consistent hashing and data versioning and all sorts of clever mechanisms that keep Amazon running smoothly. But I think more importantly, we've gained a new perspective on things.
Right.
The trade-offs between consistency and availability and the importance of embracing change.
Absolutely.
Perhaps our listeners might want to consider this, where in your own work or even your daily life, could you benefit from being a bit more flexible?
That's a great question.
Is there a situation where maybe trying to be too certain is actually holding you back?
It's definitely something to think about.
It seems counterintuitive, but sometimes letting go of control can actually make us more successful.
I agree.
And with that thought-provoking question, we'll wrap up this deep dive
Yes.
into the fascinating world of Dynamo. We hope you've enjoyed it.
Thanks for listening.